Hi, I'm Mike, and today we're going to fix the LED lighting on this Dyna. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Hey, it's Mike with Riding in the Ozarks, and today we're fixing up LED lights on this 2000 FXDX Dyna. If you've ever put LED lights on a Dyna, especially turn signals, you may run into some problems, lights not flashing or hyper flashing, that kind of stuff. We're going to install some lights, show you how to fix that, and convert these incandescent turn signal bulbs to LEDs. I already did a rear turn signal tail light combination, another video. So we'll kind of start back there and show you what happens when we remove those incandescent lights. But if you want to know about the tail light, there's a whole nother video on that, and I'll leave a link in the description. If you're new here, thanks for checking out the video. If you're a repeat offender, thanks for coming back. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and maybe subscribing to the channel even. All right, let's get into it. I'm snipping the wires that were soldered into the harness for this turn signal, pulling it out. I'm taping up each wire where I snipped the previous connection. The wires are snipped clean. I don't see where there would be any chance of any shorting or grounding, but we'll tape each wire individually, and then I'll tape the bundle, and that will protect them from any possible issues in the future. You guys will now see, by removing the incandescent bulbs, I don't have enough load to make the flasher flash. No flash. It stays on solid. Gotta fix that. This is a Load Equalizer. I bought it on Amazon. Again, links in the description for the tail lights, the turn signals, Load Equalizer, all the LED lightings I'm doing in this project in case anybody's interested, or it helps you figure out what for sure will work if you're doing an old Dyna like this and converting it to LEDs. So the Load Equalizer just fits right inside the main plug here. I pulled this loose just so we could get it out here, we can see it. But you basically splice it, or don't have to splice it, it's plug and play, but it goes in between. And this should solve our flashing problems, which will help because we're gonna do this on the front and we need to make sure everything works. Yeah, that'll fit down in there nicely. Let's see how our rear turn signals are now. We have flashing again. Yay! The next step is to get rid of these ugly things. Some people might not like the way I'm gonna go with this, but I found some little black lights, and they're made to mount up here kind of on the tree, but I think with this particular model I needed a different bracket, so I think it's going to mount on this bracket like this, and then this is going to mount in where the existing turn signal mounts, and they're going to be black against this chrome, but that's what I wanted, was blacked out as much as possible, so that's what I went with. This motor is black trim and stuff, we just don't have black trees or anything like that. So let's get these off here. Now I bought this bike used. You know, I don't have any different hardware than what came with these lights or came on here. So this is designed to have that much of a spacer kind of in there where this bolts in and clamps to the triple tree. That's one reason I got this style mount, because it'll work as that same spacer. So everything should bolt back up pretty much the same. Let's take a look how it's going to do. What we didn't get, unless there's any hardware for it, is a bolt to tie this into this bracket. On these, there's a bolt on the inside and the housing works as a nut. So I may just have to figure something out. We'll try it out and see. All right guys, so I had to go get some hardware. I'm gonna show you how this works. So these mounts I bought go right here where these lights go. So the way this is gonna go together, the light goes against this clamp goes on the bike like that. Now, what I'm going to do is put this black hex-headed screw through here. This is an M8 by 1 inch. And then on the inside of this, it's recessed. And I've got a nylon lock washer we're going to put in there, and that's going to hold the light to this clamp. And then I just take the bolt that holds that light in, out, put this in there, take this wiring loose, replace it with this one. Should be pretty easy. Here's my factory wiring. I cut these wires right behind where a solder connection had been made previously, and then I stripped them back, cleaned all the junk off of the insulation with a little WD-40 on a rag so the connections are nice and clean. And I've just test fitted this to make sure they work, and they do. So the fittings that come on these wires are basically a hollow tube, and you can run the wire through it, bring it back over it, and crimp it down. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to pull my heat shrink down and heat shrink these together. If you want to, you could use solder on there. That's not a bad idea. I'm just not going to, because I don't think it's necessary for this. I think if I crimp these connections and heat shrink them, they'll be fine. If they're not, I'm the one that has to fix them. Would I recommend doing solder? Yeah, if you're good at it. Now I have a big piece of heat shrink way back up there, up the line. I'm going to heat shrink this stuff down, then I'll pull the big one down and heat shrink and cover all that there. Anything still exposed, I'll just tape up. We'll let that cool before I pull the heat shrink down. I still have to wire up the other side, but basically going to do the same thing right there. I didn't show you guys earlier, but the yellow wire goes to the purple, white goes to blue, black to black. That will give you your park and turn wired up correctly if you choose to buy the same lights I did. The wiring doesn't match. These are white, yellow, and black, which doesn't match the factory coloring, but that is the color pattern. I've got these all stripped back. I've tested the connections. Now I'm going to crimp them down and shrink wrap them. All right, everything's heat shrinked up in here, nice and good. It's still a little warm, but should be sealed up real good, keep any moisture from getting in there and corroding the connections. We have a little bit of extra wire. This was all kind of bundled up and zip tied up in here to begin with. So we'll just put these in here together and then zip tie them like that. Zip tie them to the wiring harness up there and they'll stay. All right guys, here's this load equalizer. Right here's that harness it splices into. No big deal. It's going to sit down here flush below the frame. So that's what balances the load. It makes all these LEDs flash correctly. Let's turn the light out in here and show you the finished product. We're going to show you how the final product looks. So this is a Ben Lari LED tail light with turn signals built in. It has a flash mode, which is the way I chose to install it. So it flashes real quick for a couple seconds, then stays on solid. Right turn. Left turn. Let's go around to the front and see how the front turned out. All right guys, I've got a towel over the headlight here so it's not so blinding, so you can actually see the running lights. There's the white running lights right here, and on the other side there's our right turn. There's our left turn. And I already had an LED headlight in there. All right guys, well I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. I like the cleaned up look of the LEDs on the front and the back. I've been wanting to get those off the sissy bar for a while. I hope this video helps somebody. The first time I tried to put LEDs on this Dyna, they didn't work right. I had to do a bunch of research, learned about load equalizers and everything else and stuff, and then I kind of put the project on hold, and now here we are doing it finally. So I'm finally glad that we got around and got it done. I think it cleans up the look a lot. A few other things I want to do. My wife had this bike originally. It was her first Harley, and then I bought it from her when she got her Sport Glide painted purple. But she had edge cut grips. I'm not a big fan. They're hard on your hands. So I'm looking at maybe changing out the grips and levers, and we may get rid of all the edge cut stuff. The crash bar's got to come off of it. I don't need that. That was really more for her. This was her first bike of her own that she learned to ride on and stuff. So it's dirty. I need to get it down and clean it. Please don't judge me. Well, I don't really care. You know how I sleep at night? With the goddamn fan on. So say what you want in the comments. My purple Dyna, cleaning it up a little bit. Just wanted to share some stuff with you guys in case somebody else runs into problems trying to get lights to flash correctly with LEDs. Sometimes they hyper flash or sometimes they don't flash at all. So this little Load Equalizer I think was like 20 bucks or something on Amazon. I can't remember, and the price might change. But there'll be links to all the lights and the Load Equalizer and all that stuff in the description down below. Hope it helps you guys. Y'all stay safe. Keep on riding. We'll see you in the next one.